So this past week I read Platinum End chapter 23, and man, uh, I'd felt like Platinum End has been pretty bad for a while. It's definitely had some pacing issues um, for a bit, probably since I don't know, around chapter 10, something like that. It's I've started to notice. That was probably when I started to notice, like, this isn't quite coming together like this creative team's previous stuff. But I think chapter 23 is the chapter that really cemented for me that this is not going to be a good series. Or if it ends up, because based on, like, they haven't introduced all the angel candidates. They haven't, it feels like there's still stuff that could be done. Like, it feels like this is the end of Metropoliman, or however you pronounce it. Uh, but this is probably like halfway through the series. Who knows? They might do a fabulous second half, and but still, it's going to be the series that starts off pretty rough and then gets better. That's like the most optimistic view I think you could take for what this series will be. And this chapter in particular, the reason I sort of have a problem with this chapter has to do with how much of a 180 Metropoliman uh, does. Specifically in this chapter, he'd been making that turn for a bit, but he started off as this character that has a lot of potential. He's the light Yagami stand-in, um, that sort of archetype that the team sort of likes to do a lot of. So, he was always ruthless. He always had a lot of contempt for other people, but he was always, a planner. Like I do like. I feel like I should go back and reread it. I think I should go back and reread all of it. Really, give it a sense. But the arc in the stadium, in the baseball stadium, really left me with a sense that this is going to be sort of like another thing like Death Note, where everyone's planning five or six steps ahead. Here's a villain that plans everything out, so the heroes are going to have to make plans to counter his plans, and then he'll have counter plans for those plans, something like that. And for some reason, it's just been uh, we're going to have these two or three caricature villain types fight you one on one. It's so strange, but really the biggest thing that they threw away with this character was his sister. There's the whole thing with his sister. His sister died, clearly affected him. It haunts him to this day. And so I was thinking that, like, because I knew there was going to be a big reveal of what is his motivation. I figured it was going to be like something to do with his sister. He's going to try to become gods to see if he can bring someone back from the dead. That'd be sort of an interesting twist on the light Yagami figure of, like, someone who's sort of trying to overcome death instead of just using it, as a weapon. Something like that. Who knows? But he reveals his motivation. Like, here's what my plan is, and it's just, I'm gonna kill all the ugly poor people. Those ugly poor people. They just make the world such an awful place. I'm just gonna kill them all. That'll fix things forever. It's just like, it's like baby's first utilitarian villain motivation. It's just like, I expected so much more from this creative team than this. Like regardless of all the sort of pacing problems that Platinum End has, regardless of whatever, I didn't expect I didn't expect the main villain of this arc, of this first half of the series, or who knows what. I didn't expect that to be, the motivation is all these dastardly, poor, ugly people. We gotta kill them. Gotta kill them. Okay, so I think a good staple of this team so far is characters with motivations that people can potentially identify with. I I understand how someone could look at Death Note and say that Light was like an anti-hero. Say Light is right at the end. I can understand that. Like, he has enough motivation. Who defends this? Who defends like, oh yeah, this villain is talking aside from like I don't even know. Who defends like a character comes out it's like the way you save the world is kill all the ugly poor people. And people are like, "Oh yeah, it's real good motivation right there." He's not sympathetic. He's not there's nothing I can get attached to. It's so weird. This team is so weird. All the previous stuff is. And I don't know, maybe it's felt really rushed the last couple of chapters. And I think from what I understand, the series really isn't very popular. It's potentially not doing so great. I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers. I'm not even sure I understand the numbers well enough. I don't know. But it feels like something's happened. It feels like I don't know if it's that team is just ready to get this over with or what, but it feels like something's happened, and we should just expect this to not go to this to go down as just like the black sheep potentially of this team. And that's the things like it's not just that Death Note was pretty solid. I know a lot of people hate the second half of Death Note. I really don't think the second half of the manga is that bad. Like there's clearly a drop in quality, but I don't think it's like I think the drop in quality is way more noticeable and detrimental in like the anime. But Bakuman was like a 20 volume series, and that was it had a little bit of lulls in it, but that was a pretty consistent series. That was pretty solid. And to just go, like what chapter 23 should be like in volume 8, 7 of this series, and it's just crashing and burning. I don't understand. Maybe there is a light though. If so, obviously everyone knows there were some shenanigans behind the scenes when they were writing Death Note. Based on the reading of Bakuman, it seems pretty clear that they're taking a jab at Shonen Jump that they probably wanted to end the series about halfway in, and they are pressured to continue it, and they aren't satisfied with how it turned out. And so it kind of felt like part of Bakuman was like an explanation for what happened with Death Note. And um, again, like yes, Death Note clearly has a drop in quality the second half of it. Yeah, I'm not disputing that, but like that drop in quality is like nothing compared to what Platinum End is at right now. Maybe the light at the end of the tunnel is that they'll get done with Platinum End, and then they'll do like I don't know a sequel to Bakuman, and it will be the explanation for what happened with Platinum End. I'd very much like to read that. Uh, Platinum End. I'll probably keep reading it. I mean, it's like $1 a month. You know, I'm invested enough just to sort of in this team, just to keep reading it. I mean, look, I kept reading Neonomicon after the second issue because I'm like, it's Alan Moore. Who knows? Maybe if there's enough of a change after if it is a thing where this is the end of the Metropoliman arc saga whatever, and then they sort of do a second half of the series, maybe it'll turn out good. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Talented team. Uh, who knows? But just right now, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad, and I'm really sad. I'm really sad.